Hello and welcome back to this exclusive video tutorial series from BlenderCookie.com. My name is Jonathan Williamson and we're picking up yet again where we left off on the M4 rifle. We're making a lot of progress, but of course it's still a long process and we've got a ways to go. But what we're going to do, from where we left off on the previous part, is we're going to fix a couple of things that I've picked up on since having looked at the previous images and such and references and things. One of that is these top rails. We've got a couple problems with those that we're going to adjust. We're going to finish off the top rails on this section, make some adjustments to this along with the pieces back here, and hopefully, if time allows, we'll start doing the asymmetrical detail within the body here so we can really start to see the body come together. Because we're actually really close to removing the symmetry from this part of the model and moving on. So switching over to Blender, let's go ahead and start with the top rails. This is actually going to be a pretty easy fix, and it's something that I didn't pick up on, but it's, until now. And what that is that the bottom pieces of here up into the middle part here is actually connected, such that we'll have a solid mesh from here to here, and then the gap is only in between these pieces. And so what we need to do is, we'll do it first on these ones. We're going to go into edit mode, and let's add in a loop cut right in the center here by hitting Control R, and then we'll left click, and then let's immediately just right click. And the reason we're going to right click is so that we don't slide it at all, because we need this to be exactly the same on both of these. We could just duplicate it, but we'd like to, for good practice, be able to keep them identical. And so now what we're going to do is we're just going to hit S, Z, and then 0 to scale to 0 along the Z axis. And then let's do the same thing over here. So we'll hit Control R, add in a loop cut, and then immediately right click, and then hit S to scale, Z to lock it to the Z axis, and 0 on the number pad to scale all the way flat. And then we'll hit Enter, and then let's just Alt Shift right click on this loop, so we select them both, and then we can go ahead and then just scale these down. And we'll take it all the way down to about right there. This technically, I think, actually should be all the way down at the bottom, but what we'll do is we'll smooth these out a little bit as well. So now we just want to go ahead and let's Alt-right click on this loop, and then we will hit Z to go into wireframe mode, and we're going to hit B to bring up our box select, and middle click and drag across this part. Hit 1 to switch into front view, and then we want to just deselect these ones again by hitting B and then middle click and dragging. So now we just have this side face selected. And what we can do is just hit E to extrude, hit X to bring it over along the X axis, and bring it over to right about here. We'll go ahead and left click, and then let's also hit Control Shift T, or Control Shift Tab to switch into vertex snapping mode. And we'll just hit G and then X, hold down Control, and snap right to those vertices. We could go ahead and remove doubles, but what we want to do first is let's just select, with our current selection still active, let's hit B and left click and drag across these vertices, all the duplicates, and we'll hit X and remove faces so that all the interior faces are removed. And now we can select everything, W, and remove doubles. So you'll see that 11 vertices were removed. We need to go ahead and do this same process on both ends here, such that it can extend all the way along. So we'll select these, hit X, delete the faces, and then what we want to do is just add in 2 loop cuts right here by hitting Control R, scroll up once, left click, and then hit S and X to scale along the X axis until that's nice and sharp. And there we go, that continues that nicely, although you can see we need to remove some faces right in here. So we'll just select those and then hit X, delete the faces, and there we are. So the last step is we need to go ahead and select this one, and we need to extrude it the same distance, and so we'll hit E to extrude, take it out. Oh, actually, well, let's actually do this instead. Let's go ahead and select all of these loops. So we'll just Alt-Shift right-click to select them, and then we're going to go ahead and hit Shift-D, move them over along the X-axis to about there, and then we'll just snap right to that by hitting G, X, and Control to snap it in. And you can see actually we forgot a part of our selection, so we need to go ahead and select those again. We'll just select them like this. We'll go ahead and hit Shift D, move them over, and it's okay if they're duplicates because we're going to remove all doubles. So now we've just got everything covered. Select everything, W, and remove doubles. And then what we need to do is, obviously you can see that our repeating pattern is no longer accurate. And so let's go in here and let's take the array and set the relative offset to 1. And that will now be exact. And we have a duplicate mesh, or a consistent duplicate now. Now we could actually go ahead and select all of this, and we could just remove it, hit X, and delete the faces, and just do 1, and then just increase the count until it's accurate. Now I'm only going to increase it to right here, because once we're done we'll actually, well, let's just go ahead and move this forward a little bit so it lines up better there. We'll actually apply the array modifier and all those such that then we can extend this one out, because you'll notice that this one here is longer, and the same thing back here, this one will actually extend all the way back to right there. Or it may actually, probably actually this one this one here will extend all the way back. Or it could be this one, but regardless, we'll get that adjusted. And so now I want to go ahead and do the same thing over here. Now this one, since we've got the replicated pieces around here, we need to do it a little more carefully. So we'll first add in the loop cut like this, then we'll right click. We'll do the same thing here. Right click on both. We can select both, S, Z, and 0. Let's take it down along the Z axis. And then we'll go in and let's just select both of these pieces. Let's hit Shift H to hide everything else. Then we'll select all of these faces, hit X, delete the faces, select this edge, hit E to extrude, X, hold down Control, snap to right there, select everything, W, remove doubles. We can go ahead and add in 2 edge loops, and again, just scale them up like that. And then you'll notice that this will also cause some problems right in here. And then on our array, remember that this is a relative offset. And so we need to actually, oh, no, actually we don't need to do anything except to ensure that this is the exact same width here. So let's just select these. We're going to hit Shift D, move them over, snap it to right there. And it looks like we are spot on, so we can select everything, W, remove doubles, and looks like we have some, oh, that's right, because I forgot to delete the faces on this side. So we'll select all these, hit X, delete the faces, and then we are good to go. Now you'll notice that this is not quite accurate yet either, because again, we need to delete this side of the faces. So we'll select those, delete the faces, and now that is consistent. So, that's a hole that we'll just need to patch at the end. We could fix it with the end caps, but honestly, I find the start and end caps to be really tedious and obnoxious. They don't seem to be consistent with what I want, so I like to just do them by hand. And so let's select these. We're going to hit X, delete the vertices. We'll select these 2, and then we also want to hit Tab to go into edit mode or object mode. Let's hit Shift S. Cursor to selected, so it's centered right here, because now we can go ahead and just hit Shift D, or I suppose I already did hit Shift D. Oh, no, I didn't. Okay, so we'll Shift D, right click. Let's turn off clipping on our mirror real quick. Oh, I guess actually clipping is already off, so we won't mess anything up when we move it towards the center. But rotating around the cursor by hitting period, we're going to hit R, X, and 90 degrees, hit enter, and then let's hit S, Z, and -1 will flip that around the Z-axis, leaving that to be perfect. Okay, so that fixes that part of our model, makes it a lot more accurate. It's not completely accurate because this should be probably a pretty smooth or sharp edge, but we're not going to worry about that for the time being. It's a small enough detail that we'll let it slide. I want to go ahead and say on this piece, let's go ahead and apply this, or we'll apply the array modifier like this, and that's okay that it wasn't first. In this case, it doesn't cause any harm. And what I want to do is we're going to select this one, or these 2 here, hit X, delete the vertices. We're going to grab this one, pull it back along the X axis, switch it back into increment snap with Control Shift Tab. We're going to pull it back to right about there where it stops. Well, actually, yeah, I think that's because it lines up pretty much with this. that looks to be, or actually I guess it's about here that it stops, I think. Okay, and what we're going to do then is we want to go ahead and fill this in, because it's not actually stopping completely, but this extension part is stopping, and it'll even out to be the same width as this. So what I want to do is to go ahead and fill in these faces. Let's first delete these. Hit X, delete the vertices. We're going to take these and let's switch back into increment or vertex snap. We'll take these, hit E to extrude, Y, and snap to that vertex. We can go ahead and pull these up along the Z-axis a bit. Let's go ahead and take these, and we're going to snap right to that one there. Select everything, W, remove doubles. And then I want to take these two, and we're going to hit E to extrude, take it up just a little bit along the Z-axis. We're going to take this vertex and just move it back along the Y and the Z, and then we'll take this one and just snap it right to there. Select everything, W, remove doubles. Let's also hit W, shade smooth, and Control N to fix these black spots. Okay, now we can go ahead and we'll just fill in a face right there. We'll fill in a face right there. So we select them and hit F. Then you can see that we need to bring in a couple more edge loops right through here. So let's bring in an edge loop first, right like that. Then we'll fill in that face. This one, we could go ahead and bring in one more edge loop there. Fill that, and then we can select these four and fill that. So that fills that nicely, giving us a nice sharp edge. And what I want to do then is we want to add in another edge loop all the way down the length here, and we'll just go ahead and hit Control R, then right click, because I'm going to switch into top view, and I want to bring it right up to these vertices. So let's hit G, Y, and then snap to one of these here on the edge. You'll notice it just pretty much snaps right to it, which will then allow us to grab all of these faces right here on the surface. And I need, yeah, just like that. Okay, because then I can go ahead and just hit E to extrude, take it back along the X-axis a little bit, and this is actually going to be a nice rounded shape in here. So I'm going to take it back a little bit first, and then we will look at it a bit more to get it the nice rounded shape. And let's hit E to extrude again. We'll take it back. Let's take it back along the X-axis all the way to here. That should be all the way to the face or to the edge. Snap right to that one there. Actually, let's take it back to that one, and then we'll extrude again. Snap back to there. To everything, W, remove doubles. Actually, I guess not remove doubles. I want to go in and select all of these faces right here, the interior faces. Hit X, delete the faces, and then that lines up very nicely. So then on this piece here, let's go ahead and just smooth this out a bit. And the way I'll do this is just selecting this. I'll go ahead and select these ones as well. I'll take them back along the X-axis. Then we'll do the same thing here. So we'll bring these back, and then we'll bring these ones back a lot more. And I guess maybe we ought to just bring these down. No. I guess we're pretty much bound to get that sharp edge there just with the way that these are constructed. Well, we could go ahead and let's see. We can take this and we'll just hit Control E, edge slide, take it down a little bit, and you really won't notice it there. But what we can also do before doing that is we'll add in another loop right through here. We'll hit S, X, and oops, hit comma to scale towards the individual centers of S, X, and 0. Bring it in, and then we can go ahead and select these edges and slide them back, which will just smooth out this surface but have very little effect on this surface here. In fact, we could go ahead and bring that a little closer to have even less. There we go. That looks pretty good. So what I want to go ahead and do now, let's go ahead and fix this front portion here. So we'll zoom in here and just select all of these areas, hit X, delete the vertices, and then we're going to go ahead and grab this, pull it all the way out, snapping to this edge here if we can. There we go. And then I'm going to do the same thing here as I did on the other side. And in fact, actually, I can go... I suppose I can't anymore. Never mind. We will still have to fill it manually. So let's just grab these 3 vertices, hit E to extrude, take it up. We'll take these 2 up, snap to there. And then we'll go ahead and take these 3, take them out along the y-axis, maybe bring this one up a little bit more. Select these 4, fill them, fill these. Select everything, W, remove doubles. Then let's go ahead and select, let's take these and take them back along the Y to snap to right there so it's lined up. We'll grab these 4, take them down along the Z, snap to there, snap to there. And then we can go ahead and just fill this like so. Select everything, W, remove doubles. Then we can fill these 4 and fill these 4 and these 4. So we just select these by alt-right clicking and then hitting F, and that fills it. So that completes that side as well, giving us a more finished mesh. I also noticed that this edge right here is really sharp where it should be much softer. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select this edge. I'm going to hit Control E and edge slide and just bring that down like that. And that'll just soften that up a little bit to make it a much nicer transition. Okay, and let's see. We're also going to go ahead. That's big. Oh, we're going to go ahead and fix one area back here, and that is this half of it right here. Or actually, well, this width is about right, but it's going to extend past a little bit more, and it's going to be this original shape in here. So what I want to do is we're going to go in. Let's alt-right click to select not that loop, but this loop here. And we're going to go ahead and hit Shift-D, bring it over along the x-axis, hit S, X, and 0 to scale it in. Let's go ahead and take this and bring these edges out to about there. And then we'll select this, bring it back into there, and that will then make this ready to extrude in just like that. And actually, I think we can just go ahead and snap right to there and basically be ready to go. Looks like we then just need to bring in a couple vertices. So let's take, say, these 2. Let's just snap them to right there. We'll do the same thing there and here. If we can get them to snap right. There we go. We can maybe bring that down to soften it a little bit. And then we'll just take these 2 vertices, take them along the Y, and then snap to right there. Now we can select everything, W, remove doubles, Control N and W, and shade smooth. I think I noticed a couple that didn't merge correctly up here, or no, never mind, they did. Okay, and so then what I want to do is we will take this, we'll extrude down to right there, select everything, W, remove doubles, and actually I want to just go ahead and that actually needs to be one smooth transition. So we're going to actually, we're going to delete these vertices, and instead we're going to select this, we're going to extrude, and we're going to just extrude right to there. We're going to select everything, W, and remove doubles. Then we'll select these vertices, we're going to hit X, delete the vertices, and we're going to go ahead and delete all these interior ones as well. We can just select those, delete, and then select these with L, hit X, and delete. And then we will go ahead and select, we'll take these, let's add in another edge loop here. We'll just take it down, snap right there, because that, oh, I guess that's not actually exact. Well, we're going to make it exact. We'll just snap it to that one. It'll be close enough. You notice there's basically no difference. And then what we'll do is we'll take these, or this one, bring it up such that it creates a convex, or basically creates an open quad where it's not protruding in on itself, and then we can just hit F and fill that, so that will then merge nicely, and then we can go ahead and just take this, extrude down to there, down to there, down to here, 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 and there. W, remove doubles, and then we're ready to just go ahead and fill in this surface. So with these selected, we'll just hit E to extrude, scale in just a little bit. We'll generally have to bring in a little bit extra, or we'll deselect these ones right in the center that are nice and straight, and we'll bring it in a little more along the Y-axis. Let's go ahead and hit Tab to leave edit mode, Shift H to hide everything else, and then now that we have this, what we'll do is let's just go ahead and grab these two. Yes, we'll hit E to extrude, take it down along the Z-axis, snap to right there, because then what we can do is we can just fill this like that, and then we can take this, hit E to extrude, grab that vertex, snap to right there, and right there, and then just keep doing this until we're basically all the way down. So this is a very quick way to fill in a surface by just extruding approximately with most of them and then snapping the single vertices exactly to the surface. But you notice the reason that I added in this is so I can add an edge loop all the way around the surface, so I get basically a control loop to give me the extra control that I need for actually defining, you know, the shape and contours of the surface. You notice here I have an extra loop that I need to deal with. So let's select everything, W, remove doubles, and then let's see where this loop is going, if we can maybe get rid of it somewhere. It's not going to be very easy to get rid of, unless maybe what we can do actually is we really don't need these in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select these three vertices, or actually these three vertices. I'm going to hit W and merge at last, the center one being the last one I selected. Then I'm going to select that vertex, or actually I'll select this one first, take it along the X-axis, and then I will just fill that. And since this is a flat surface, that won't cause any problems. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to Alt-right click to select these edge loops, and I'm going to delete them. But in order to preserve this vertex, I'm going to select it and hit H to hide it, because now I can just select this, hit X, and delete edge loop. And that will actually make it perfect, which then leaves me with triangles here that I need to fix. And then I have one triangle in here that I will try and get rid of here shortly. But there's a chance I may add in an extra edge loop. Actually, yeah, we are going to. We're going to go ahead and add in an extra edge loop. Well, actually, I guess that's on the inside. Well, we'll work on that here in just a little bit. We really don't need to worry about it. Just rounded that out. We don't need to worry about it just yet. A triangle there really doesn't cause any problems. It's just I like to work with quads only, both for good practice, but also as a challenge. But for the time being, we will go ahead and leave it where it's at. Okay, so saving our file, of course. Hit Alt-H. I think that, we're going to add an extra edge loop right there to get that nice and sharp. Okay, I believe that is all of the symmetry. Oh, actually, nope, not quite. There is one piece right in here. If we hit Shift-H, this here actually needs to go ahead and be brought in. So what we'll do is, starting here, we're going to select all these, and then we're going to deselect everything above it. Select those. Okay, and we want these ones as well. And what I'll do is just go ahead If we add in an edge loop, nope, that doesn't work. Let's see what happens if we just hit E to extrude, scale this in. Let's see. Because I want to bring this in, but it needs to be nice and sharp. So what I'll do is let's go ahead and I'm going to hit E to extrude, then right click, and I'm going to middle click and drag across those. I'm going to pull this in then about to there where I feel it should be, and then we're going to extrude it in. Oops. Select everything now, W, and remove doubles, which then leaves us with this awkward face right in here, which that shouldn't be pulled back like that. So what we now need to do is we want to put an edge loop right down through there, and so what we can do is this edge here, we'll go ahead and take that back to smooth that along. I'm going to let's go in and delete this face here. So hit X, delete the face, and then I'm going to go ahead, select this face, hit X, delete the face, add in a loop right there, about to where it lines up there. So I can now just move this over along the Y-axis until it snaps. Select everything, W, remove doubles, removes that, and then I can add in a loop right here. Go ahead and extrude this vertex out, fill that, and fill that. There we go. So that leaves me with a nice solid surface, and I get this here. I could add an extra edge loop all the way down that, which I hate to add one all the way along there just for that. Let's see, if I do that, it goes all the way back and through there. It's a bit of a waste, so let's see. But what I can do is I can take this edge loop, I'll bring it out along there, and then I'll add another one right down to there. There we go. So now that's nice and sharp and fills it in like it should. This actually needs to then come out a bit more like this, right to the edge. This edge loop here, bring back this, can come out. We can also go ahead and scale that up, but I'm going to hit S and then Shift Y to just bring it up completely like that. Let's bring this out a bit to make that a little sharper or a little more rounded there. Okay, we'll hit Alt-H to unhide everything, save this, and I believe we are ready for the asymmetrical stuff on the body here. But we're not going to do that yet. We're going to save that for the next section, just because there's going to be a lot to do. But what we can do, we'll do some of the small detailing right in here that is going to be symmetrical, and that is the pin that goes right through here and the pin that goes right through here. But it means that we've got to actually punch holes in this. So what I want to do right here, the hole is going to be right about there. So I'm going to add in an edge loop right here, bring it down just a little bit, and then I'm going to bring this edge over. So now we're creating more of a squarish face right here that'll kind of surround that. Switch into face mode, I'm going to select this one, hit E to extrude, right click, scale down a little bit, and then what I want to do, let's see, if I do, well, what I need to do is just make a perfect square. So I'm going to hit N to bring up my panel here. I'm going to just scroll down until I see my edge length area. Hit Control Tab, switch back into vertex mode. I'm just going to grab this, and now I can see the edges there. Let's just make them, for the size, let's just make it a even 30 on each one. We'll bring this down. We can just get it approximate first. Let's go ahead and take this. We'll go and rotate it a little bit. And now we can see maybe we need to go ahead and bring this one out a bit right there. Lengthen that one. So that gets it 30. Got 30. And that doesn't look square for some reason because it's not. Okay, so that's not exactly square, but it'll be pretty darn close, and allow us to just hit E to extrude, right click, scale in just a little bit, and then hit E to extrude, scale in just a little bit that way, and then we can go ahead and just take it all the way into the center, hit X, and delete the face, which will give us a nice round hole right through there. If we want, we can move this whole thing over a bit like this, and then we can take this, hit Control E and edge slide. Well, I guess we can't actually. We'll take it over just along the x-axis, then we'll grab that and pull that down. Okay, we want to do the same thing over here, but in this case it's actually going to be a little better because we've got the two edge loops. So first we'll select these vertices, pull them back, switch into face mode, select these, hit E to extrude, scale them down, and then we'll just create a much more solid face. And actually what I'll do on this is I'm going to hit SX to 0, select these, SX to 0, and then we'll select each one of these, SY to 0. This is the way that I really should have done it, but that's okay. And now we can just bring these in until they're all even. In this case, we want these two to be 15 each. So let's just take these, take it up to 15 and 15, and then these out to 30. There we go. That'll give us a perfect square. We can now scale this, bring it around, something like that. We can bring these up around a little bit if we need to. Same thing here, just to try and even out the mesh, make it a little less pinched there in those areas. We'll go ahead and bring this in a bit more, about like that. And then we'll hit E to extrude, scale it in just a bit. Again, like this. And then one more all the way to the center, X, delete the faces. So then what we want to do is actually on these, we actually want to bring these ones in just a little bit. Since we've got it's not a perfect square, it's not going to create a nice circle. And so we'll just average these out. And you know, we could just go ahead and add these in with an actual circle. But since I had the mesh there, it was just convenient to go ahead and do it like that. Just like this, pull it out. There we go, close enough that no one will ever notice from a distance that it's not a perfect circle. Now, there may be a tiny bit too small right now, so I'm going to select them and then just hit S and Shift Y to scale it up. Same thing over here. Bring these up so that we don't cause any overlap. And this one actually should be quite a bit more over like this. And technically we ought to put a gap through on there. I'm not going to worry about it for the time being, just because we're short on time on this entire project. Well, actually, you know what? We really should. Let's go and add in an edge loop right through here. Let's turn off our edge links, and we're going to take it along the x-axis to right about there. And then at this loop here, we're just going to select this, switch into face mode, and let's just select these faces. And select this, hit X, delete the faces, switch back into vertex mode. Let's select this. We're going to go ahead and pull it along the x-axis there, hit SX and 0. And then we're going to go ahead and fill that with a face. And then let's just go ahead and fill it with, let's just say 4 faces for the time being. I'm going to delete this vertex here, because then we're going to select this one, hit E to extrude, take it along the y-axis right to there, add another edge loop right next to it. And actually, let's just grab this whole surface. Then we'll hit Shift D, bring it over along the y-axis, select everything, W, remove doubles, Control N, and then we just need to go over here and grab these vertices and snap them where they go real quickly. And I put in 2 extra loops. So that brings that over. And right now, this whole thing is maybe a little too wide, which if we thin it out a little bit, then we can go ahead and select all of these. Bring them in about like that. Sharpen that up. And we just need to do the same thing over here. So we'll select these vertices, hit X, delete. Go and add in, let's see. Yeah, we'll just take these back. Oh no, let's go ahead and take these, hit X, we're going to, or V, we're just going to rip them apart along the X-axis here. Hit E to extrude, take it out, select everything, remove doubles. We can go ahead and delete that face, and then we'll just add in another one right here, such that we can fill in a face like this, and fill in a face like that. Although actually, that doesn't work very well. Instead, let's go ahead and do this. So we'll rip that up. So again, we just select it, hit V, and we can pull this up along the Z-axis, extrude down to there, fill this, select everything, remove doubles. There we go. That leaves us with a good solid mesh. Delete this vertex, and you can see we're going to have to add in some vertices. So let's go ahead and take these back to there, oops, no, back to there and there, remove doubles, and then before we worry about this connecting, let's go ahead and bring these down. So we'll bring it down to right there, remove doubles, and then we can go ahead and select these surfaces. A vertex there, take that back. And for some reason we have a face. I'm not sure why we have an edge right there. Oh, that's because rather than duplicating it, I extruded it. So we just need to step back out, and of course I actually messed it up completely. So let's just select all these in here. And then we'll hit X, delete the faces, and then we will select everything, remove doubles, select all these, and we want to just duplicate rather than extruding. just have some of these random straight edges that I don't know what I did, but that's okay. We'll add in an edge loop up to here and bring this one back. Remove doubles. Same thing right here. Control N, and looks like we've got another edge in there. And I think that is all of the random stray edges. So now I just need to add in these. So we can see here that we've got what looks to be got an edge in here as well. There we go. So we've got 3, 4, 5, 6 vertices. On this side we only have 2, but that's okay, because what we can actually do is we're going to first just extrude these back to here, select everything, remove doubles, then we're going to grab these, pull them back along the x-axis, and pull these back, or pull these 2 back, and we can fill a face right there, and fill a face right there. And since it's on this side, you'll basically never notice. And we can probably improve this deformation right here if we just pull this back all the way to there. And maybe this one. Well, no. We'll just leave that like that. Because I really don't want to add in another edge loop all the way through there when you're really just not going to see this. Although we could go ahead, let's select these areas, we'll hit X, delete the faces. We're going to take these, extrude them back like that. Everything, W, remove doubles. Then we'll fill that. Here we go. Here's where we can actually remove this triangle right in here. So I'm going to select these, hit X, delete the faces. We're going to turn off clipping for a second, move this back along the y-axis, then we'll extrude it in, turn clipping back on, fill this, add in an edge loop right there. Oops, not quite. I'm going to go in here, delete these faces, add the edge loop. We'll go ahead and scale these to 0 along the X. We can fill that, and then we'll fill that, keeping the nice even one right in the center. Because then in here, I can go in and we'll again do the same thing. We'll keep the even one right in the center. Let's delete these. We'll fill that. Take these along the x-axis there. Let's see. I may have missed something in here. Here we go. There we go. So it gives us much cleaner deformation and actually a cleaner mesh in general too. It might look messy, but it's actually pretty good. Particularly remember because these things don't have to move, and so it doesn't have to be exactly clean. And again, we don't even have to stick with strictly quads. I just like to as good practice. But it also does make adding edge loops and things like that far, far easier. Okay, so then we just need to hit Alt-H. We'll go in here. We're going to select this, pull it back along the x-axis to right in there. And we'll do the same thing over here. Then we can hit Control-L, pull it up such that it's even with the pin, or where the pins would be. Pull that in slightly, and then what we could do, go in here, we'll select one of these inside loops, something like that. We'll hit Shift-D, scale it down, then let's hit Alt-F and Alt-J, or Actually, never mind. Step back. We're going to deselect these ones, hit F, select these two, hit F, hit Control L to select all of it, hit E to extrude, take it out just a little bit, then take it out a bit more. And in this case, this pin looks to be solid. So we'll take it in and then scale it in. We'll go ahead and select this, and we're just going to duplicate it over to the other side. So we'll Shift D, move it over along the X. And this also gives us a chance to position this one more accurately. Something about like that. And on this one, actually, we're going to go in. We'll select these last two loops. We're going to hit E to extrude, take it in, and then hit E to extrude again, take it back, and once more, take it back. Although let's go ahead and select these two loops as well, and we'll hit S and Shift Y, scale it in a bit more. And there we go. Okay, so now we'll hit Alt H, and I know it doesn't look like we made hardly any progress at all, but we definitely did. And in the next part, we should really start seeing things come together. So with that, I'll leave you one more time, and we'll be back soon.